Next, the use of contaminated blood products back in the 1970s and 80s has been described as the worst treatment disaster in the history of the NHS.
Well, earlier this month, the chair of the inquiry into the scandal recommended a full compensation scheme for those affected. And they said that should be set up by the government immediately ahead of his report being published later this year.
But today in the House of Commons, the government couldn't say when that would happen, something one patient from East Yorkshire has described as outrageous. Amelia Beckett reports.
Nick Sainsbury has taken 11 pills a day for the last 3 decades. He's had haemophilia since birth, but these pills are to treat HIV and hepatitis C, diseases he contracted because he was given contaminated blood as a child.
I've been on quite a toxic regime since I think the mid-80s. I mean, it's hung over me personally my entire adult life.
That's because he was treated with Factor VIII, a blood product that came from high-risk donors in America, including prisoners, drug addicts and prostitutes. After decades of campaigning by Nick and thousands others, an inquiry was launched. While the complete findings aren't expected until later this year, earlier this month the chair called for a compensation scheme to be set up immediately. Today, the government responded to that.
People die every week as a result of the impact of the scandal. We want to act at pace and we want to act swiftly, but it's also vital that this is done properly.
Well, it's outrageous. And the government always says the right thing, that they want to sort it out and sort it out as soon as possible. And then they turn around and say, well, we're not going to do anything until after the report's published. Well, there'll be even fewer of us left.
That view is shared by Mel McKay from Sheffield, who's long campaigned alongside Nick.
Everybody's been wanting justice for such a long time. And it's not good on our mental health and our physical health, with all this having to be continuing hanging over our shoulders.
The government didn't rule out paying reparations before the publication of the report, but Hull MP Diana Johnson questioned any delay.
We know that on average one person is dying every 4 days. 500 people have died since the start of the inquiry in 2017 when it was announced. You know, these people do not have time on their side. They need compensation as soon as possible.
Compensation that Nick says would be a final acknowledgement of a scandal which completely changed his life. Amelia Beckett, ITV News, Hull.